The story continues that we've been looking at in verse 7 with the second birth from Bilhah. Rachel's maid Bilhah had conceived again and bore Jacob a second son. This quick succession of children further cements Bilhah's position as a surrogate for Rachel's plan to build a family. Now, Rachel's maid had produced 2 kids at this stage, expanding Jacob's lineage even more. In the patriarchal era, each son carried not just an emotional significance, but covenantal potential. The second child further intensifies the sense that the divine blessing is on this family and is at work, though it emerges through a fairly convoluted familial situation, doesn't it, really? For Rachel, this second son extends the notion that God is mercifully making up for her being barren. Believers might see in these births a reminder of God's blessing, and it comes in ways that we perhaps least expect it, highlighting how sometimes human efforts, even though born out of jealousy, can still be woven into God's plan. God's capacity to bring good from flawed motivations underscores his sovereignty. He knows what's going on. He knows what's going to be going on. As Paul writes, that God works in all things together for the good of those who love him. And that's from Romans chapter 8 and verse 28. Finally, verse 8 concludes this section. So Rachel said, "With mighty wrestlings I have wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed." And she named him Naphtali. Rachel's choice of the name Naphtali reflects the conflict that she has with her sister, Leah, calling to mind the wrestlings or the strugglings. Her maternal joy is tinged with the reality that she sees childbirth as a bit of a competition. And she shows herself at the moment that she considers herself to be victorious. This self-declared victory reveals the complexity of Rachel and Leah's relationship. It's all to do with envy and competition. Although both women are part of God's plan to establish the tribes of Israel, the emotional toil on both of them is enormous, as any competitive relationship is. Rachel openly acknowledges that she has been contending with her sister for a place of honor in the family. Now, the name Naphtali actually means my wrestling, and it stands as a memorial of Rachel's struggle, underscoring the notion that conflicts among God's people can shape their legacy. But it does actually point out to us that there are struggles within God's people. The child will eventually become one of the heads of the tribes of Israel, demonstrating again that God will use imperfect relationships to fulfill his covenant purposes. In the New Testament, Christ emerges from this tangled lineage as the ultimate Redeemer, showing God's unrelenting commitment to work through and sometimes in spite of human frailty. Leah's unwavering persistence, the fruitful role of Zilpah, and Jacob's ever-expanding household revealed the unstoppable progress of God's promise that was given to Abraham and then Isaac, ensuring that the patriarch's lineage is going to continue to flourish.